to describe real love. It says, charity suffereth long in verse 4, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. We'll stop for just a moment. There's a lot in that verse. A real lot. And it's the complete opposite of what this world teaches. It says, charity suffereth long and is kind. You know what? Love goes the extra mile. You know, there are some people that are in caregiver situations. It's a very, very difficult life. I heard a commercial on the radio, and I really didn't know that I know even what it was advertising for. I want to say it was for AARP. I can't remember for sure. But there was a commercial, and it was about caregivers. It was on the radio. And it was talking about, it was trying to encourage caregivers to be strong. As they go out and they have to take the person they're taking care of to the hospital. They have to take them to the different things they have to go to. Constantly on the go, from one appointment to the next. Tiring life. Sometimes the person hardly knows what's going on. You probably dealt with a mom or a dad or a grandma or grandpa who was in the later stages of life where it was difficult. But the Bible tells us charity suffereth long. You know, there will probably become a time in your relationship between a husband and wife, especially if their marriage goes on for a long time. My parents have been married for quite a while, over 30 years. You know what? They faced some medical situations. You know, you have to make a choice to be willing to suffer long, no matter what. No matter what. We're sticking together. Can I tell you that is the number one thing that's being missed in so many marriages and relationships today is we're sticking together no matter what because charity suffereth long. It's not about the first sign of trouble, I'm out the door. The same thing should happen with friendships. You're my friend, and just because it's been a rocky patch and it's rough right now, we're going to be friends still. You know why? Because that's what love does. Love suffereth long. It's not the first sign of trouble, I'm out the door. It's how do we make this work? Charity suffereth long. And it says it's kind. You know, if you have a relationship that's on the ropes, whether it's a friendship relationship, whether it's between your parents or siblings, maybe even your aunts and uncles, maybe some nephews, cousins, I don't know. Whatever the case may be, whatever relative. Maybe it's in your home, in your marriage life, between your husband or wife, or maybe even your significant other if you're not married. But there's a problem in your relationship. One of the quickest ways to help fix it is simply to be kind. You say, well, that's just a simple thing, be kind. It goes a whole long way to be kind to somebody, even to your enemies. The Bible says you reap coals of fire on their head. You know what? If you just got a little bit of kindness in your heart, you know what? It goes a long way just to open the door for somebody. I don't know where you'll be watching this from. Maybe it won't be as cold as it is here as we're in the dead of winter here, February 2020. But I don't know what your situation is. Maybe you'll be watching from a warm climate. But here it's very cold. And let me tell you, going a little bit out of your way to hold the door for somebody so they don't have to stand out there and freeze for a moment is an act of kindness. It's a great thing to do, to help somebody along their way. One of the families that came to this church before they moved again, you know what really blossomed our relationship with them was that they were moving. They weren't moving very far. They used to live right across the street from us. They were moving over 2 houses down the other direction. My wife looked out and seen them moving and said, I think they might need some help. And we did. Went over there, began to help, began to move stuff. From that became a very strong relationship. Still know that family today, even though now they've moved away, moved quite a distance away. Their family came to the church for probably 2 or 3 years. I don't know the exact time frame. God was able to work in their lives. Now I know right now, sadly, as far as I know, they're not living a godly life. But you know what? It was an influence, and it came from an act of kindness. Reaching out to help somebody. It goes a long way. Your husband is struggling something. Come alongside. Help him with it. Be kind. Do something nice for each other. Same thing for the husband for his wife. You know what? Valentine's Day was on Friday. Nothing wrong with going out, picking up a thing of flowers, getting them something nice. Why? Be kind to each other. It's part of love. Real love. It says it envieth not, vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. I'm going to move on here pretty quickly because I think we're a good ways in. We're about 25 minutes into the message and we've still got a ways to go, so I'm going to hurry along here. But you know what? Love cannot be all about you. It simply can't be. Can't be all about you. If it's all about you, your relationship will never work. Whether it's friends, family, or in a relationship between a husband and wife. It'll never work. It can't be all about you. If it's all about you, it's doomed to failure. Absolutely doomed to failure if it's all about you. Because there are times when it's all about sacrifice. It's all about them. When they can't give a whole lot back. You know, a lot of people, when they're in a relationship, maybe they're just dating, you know, considering who they want to live their life with, and hopefully that decision's only once. I know people get married 3 or 4, 5 times, some of them even more. But the decision really is supposed to be for life. But when they're making a decision for who they want to be with, a lot of them look into it and what's in it for me? What does this person give me? Do they make me happy? Do they have the same goals that I have? All these kind of things. You know what? That's not really the way it's supposed to work. And I know the words say, oh, hold on, no, that's not the way it's supposed to work. You know what love is about? It's not about what can they do for me. Not at all. True love is what can I do for them? What can I do to make their life better? How can I help them? How can I build them up? If you go from that point of view, it'll go a whole lot longer. You know what? There's a lot of rapes that happen in today's society. And it's not surprising because of all the sensuality that we promote, but it doesn't make it any more right. There's a lot of pornography that goes on in today's world. It's a sad thing. It destroys relationships on both sides, whether it's a woman looking at pornography or a man. Absolutely destructive for a marriage. Destructive for a relationship. And you say, you know what? There's no profit at all in that for your partner. When you go to doing that kind of things. But you look at it, and what causes rape? Because a man or a woman, and most likely a man though, just because of the strength issues in most cases. Because a man goes and decides that he wants his desire for fulfillment and his sensual life is more important than his girlfriend's dignity, and he wants to violate her. It's a sad thing. You say, well, that's not something you like to talk about. No, it's not. But you know what it is? It's because it's all about them, and it's not about the other person. You know why? Because he thought about the other person, and thought about the other person's emotions, and what this would do to them. You know, they'd stop in an instant. Because he'd realize it was a terrible thing. You know, before a woman would go out, cheat on her partner, cheat on her spouse, cheat on her date, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of people that live together today, and that's not right at all. The Bible is actually completely against it. If you're going to live together, get married. It's simple as that. But before someone cheats at somebody, if they were to just think about their partner for just a second, think about their spouse, think about their loved one, you know what? They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it because they realize it hurt them. They realize it would hurt the relationship. Whether it's the wife cheating on the husband or the husband cheating on the wife, whatever the case may be, if they thought about the other person, they wouldn't do it. You know why? Because love has to be about the other person involved or the other people that are involved. It has to be. This world has love all wrong. They want it to be about itself and what's in it for me. And in reality, it's about what's in it for the other person, the other people. That's sacrificial love that does what this says. It's long, it's kind, it doesn't put itself first. It rejoices not in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. You know what it says in verse 7? It beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth. I'm going to close here. We're at 30 minutes. I don't want to go too much longer. Plus, it's getting close to 12 o'clock. I try not to go past 12 o'clock. I know it's not all about time, but people start to begin to wonder when you're going to finish when it gets close to 12 o'clock. But you have one mission in this world. One mission. The Bible tells us in the end of Ecclesiastes, Solomon has searched, asked the preacher. If you read Ecclesiastes, he did just about everything a man can do in his life. He built cities. He had 700 wives and 300 concubines. You talk about a man that got around. This fella had 1,000 different women that he was with. He got around. He was wealthy. Perhaps the wealthiest person that ever lived. I don't know anyone. I don't know if I know anybody in this world that owns countries practically. Look at the cities this man owned. He built them from scratch, half of them. He'd get a wife and give her a city as a present. He was so wise, so intellectual that people would come around the world, flock there just to ask him questions. It was brilliant. Given wisdom from God. But he did all kinds of things. His heart even got distracted from God because of all of the women that he had in his life. So they drawn his heart from God. Tragic thing. When he begins to reflect through life, and all throughout the book, you'll see the word vanity of vanities, always vanity. It was all nothing! Everything he had done was nothing! But he said, fear God. Actually, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. You say, fear God and keep his commandments. So what are his commandments? Well, Jesus summed it up real easy. When he was asked, what's the greatest commandment? Now, I'm going to paraphrase just a little bit, because there are two different readings depending on which book you read it out of, and though it's very similar in wording. It's basically this: thou shalt love the Lord thy God with everything that you are, heart, soul, strength, mind, everything that you are. Love God. That's the first and greatest commandment. The second is like this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Because of these are all of the commandments. You read through the 10 Commandments, the first 4 are about God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The next 6 are about man. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet. First 4 about God. The next 6 are about man. You know what? You have one goal in this world, and it's to learn how to love. Learn how to love, it's the only goal. You've heard Rick Warren, you probably heard him say something like this. It's about love. In my